252 Movie presents And to Think That I Saw Him on the Road to Damascus, based on Paul's letter to Timothy, where he tells the story of his past. Action!
Ooh, Timothy, wow! Thank you so much for coming to our meeting today. It's quite an honor.
Thanks very much. Okay. Thanks for having me. So I'm sorry, I hate to admit this, but I'm still a little hazy about what it is I'm supposed to talk about today.
Oh, so sorry. Yes, I want you to share your story with everyone.
Oh, okay.
You know, like what Paul's like, what it's like to be near Paul. How awesome is Paul? That kind of stuff.
My story.
Yeah. You've traveled with Paul on many of his missionary journeys, correct? Since you were a young man.
I have.
Good. Just wanted to make sure we invited the right Timothy.
What exactly is going on here?
Oh, look at the sundial. Gotta get things moving. So glad you're here. Please take a seat. So glad you're here. Yeah, right there.
Okay, thanks.
All right. All right. Take your seats, everyone. Please take your seats. I call the 12th meeting of the Paul Fan Club to order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
As is custom, we will now recite the Paul Fan Club oath. All rise. Repeat after me. I insert your name.
I insert your name.
No. How many times have we done this? When I say insert your name, you say your actual name. Yeah. All right? Okay, let's try it again. I insert your name.
I, Tracy.
Promise to do all I can.
Promise to do all I can.
To be more like Paul.
To be more like Paul.
Paul!
Excuse me.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't aware, we have a special guest today, Timothy, one of Paul's very own followers and students, who Paul handpicked from the city of Lystra to be molded into his image. Yes, but we'll get to him in a minute. Yeah. I know you're new, but there's sort of an order to all this.
Okay, but I didn't.
Don't worry. Yeah. You'll get a turn to speak in a minute.
Okay.
It's really fun. Okay. Our first order of business is the gathering of stories from any of you who are trying to be more like Paul. Who would like to speak? Tracy, your hand was first. Come on up here. Let's see what you learned.
Excuse me. Well, I've been asking around, and I have heard, and I'm not totally sure if this is true, but I heard that Paul has a very funny walk. Apparently something about a thorn in his side or something. Well, I've been working on his walk, and I would like to show it to you right now.
Oh, Paul's walk. Show us. Oh. Ooh. Oh, thank you, Tracy, so much. Here you go. I think from now on, we should all try to walk like Paul. Hey.
Paul doesn't walk anything like that.
Anybody else have anything to say? Oh, Herbert. Come on up here, Herbert. My goodness, Herbert, what happened to you?
Well, I'm happy to report that, like Paul, I was beaten up and thrown into prison.
Oh, you were thrown into prison for preaching like Paul?
No, I was thrown into prison for stealing food from a fruit vendor.
I'm pretty sure Paul never stole any fruit.
No, but he was thrown into prison.
Well, there is no arguing that. All right. You're halfway there, Herbert.
Yeah,
Everyone, let's give Herbert a hand. I think we should all try to be thrown into prison like Paul. Hey, just not for stealing, am I right? Yeah. All right. Now, I know that many of you have more stories, but I really want to get to our special guest today, a man who is becoming more and more like Paul every day. Timothy! Come on up here, Timothy! Come on up here! Yes.
All right.
Oh, here you go. Use your legs.
No, thank you. Hi. Not really sure what to say, actually.
Oh, tell us about all the great things you've seen Paul do.
Yeah, tell us about all the amazing things he said.
No. Let's not make Timothy nervous. As we all know, it's hard to preach as well as Paul.
Oh, no, I'm not trying to preach like Paul. I don't know how to say this, but none of you should be trying to be like Paul. Don't get me wrong, Paul is a great man. But how much do you really know about Paul?
I know he spread the good news about Jesus across the country.
And I know he was thrown in prison for what he preached.
Yeah, he walks like this.
No, but listen, you've obviously heard a lot of the good things about Paul. That's great, but if you knew his whole story, actually, here, wait, I've got a letter. It's a letter that Paul sent to me.
Ooh, a letter from Paul. This should be good. I like letters.
All right, here it is. I used to speak evil things against Jesus.
Oh dear.
You did?
No, this is what Paul is saying. Paul used to say evil things about Jesus. It says he used to hurt people who followed Jesus. He wanted to have them arrested, even killed.
Wait, whoa, wait. Paul doesn't sound very nice.
Well, he wasn't. No, in his letter, Paul says that he is the worst sinner of all.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I had to get a little here.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Please don't miss the most important part of the letter. Can I? Look, Paul wrote, Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners. Right? And I am the worst sinner of all. But for that very reason, God showed me mercy. You see, Paul was mean, you know, he did and said some bad things. But God loved him anyway. God showed Paul mercy so that people like us would understand just how loving and patient Jesus is. Listen, I love that you want to know all the good stuff about Paul's story. It makes Paul seem amazing, but when you know the whole story, it helps you see how amazing Jesus is, and that's really what's the most important.
So, if we can't be like Paul, then who should we be?
Well, I think you should be like you. I mean, if Jesus could use Paul's story to help lead other people to God, then he can use your story, your whole story, good and bad, to help make a difference in the world.
so he can use my story?
Yeah, Jesus wants to use your unique individual life.
And mine?
Yes.
My story too?
Yes, and you don't have to walk like that anymore.
Great.
Well, as president of the Paul Fan Club, I hereby motion that we stop trying to be like Paul and start following Jesus as ourselves. All in favor, say aye.
Aye!
Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much for being here, Timothy.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, I guess since we're not going to be needing these, would you like to take them home?
No.
Okay. I'll just keep it as a souvenir.